In this video, we set up our development environment and write our first C++ program. What's up everyone? Welcome to Programmer Life. You can find the video timestamps and a link to source code used in the video down in the description below. Let's get started. As a first step, we set up our development environment. Let's install Blocks IDE. Blocks is a free IDE available on multiple operating systems. IDE is an integrated development environment that contains a variety of tools in a single place, such as compiler, debugger, and editor. It also helps in typing faster by giving us hints and completing words. It also highlights text if it finds any error, runs our program, along with many other features. We can download CodeBlocks from codeblocks.org. To download, click on Downloads, then from the left pane, click on Binaries, which opens up Downloads page. Here we can see CodeBlocks supports Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Let's install CodeBlocks MinGW variants for Windows. This includes GCC and G++ compilers. We can install from SourceForge. Click on SourceForge link. The installer application starts downloading. Once the installer downloads, we can start installing Blocks IDE. Now that the installer is ready, click on Open to start the installation. Installer greets us with a welcome page. Click Next to move forward. The installer presents us with a license agreement. Once you agree, click on Agree and leave all components selected for installation. Select the installation location and click Install to start the installation. After installation, CodeBlocks asks to run the application. Click Yes to launch the application. Now we are ready to write our first C++ program. We start by creating a new file. To create a new file, select File from the menu, then click on the New, followed by an empty file. Let's save our new file by selecting File from the menu and click on Save File As. To organize our code, create a new folder named cpp_tutorial. Save the file as helloworld.cpp. Our first program outputs hello world on screen. You can see as I type, the IDE is giving hints and helping in autocomplete. Code completion is one of the features of IDE that speeds up the development process. You can autocomplete the suggested hint by using tab. Save the program from the file menu or using keyboard shortcut Ctrl+S. Now that we have written our first program, we need to build it before we can run the program to output hello world on screen. Building a program is a process of converting human readable code to machine code. To build the program, select Build menu, click on Build. You can also use keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F9. Once the program builds successfully, select the Build menu again and click on Run to run the program. You can also use keyboard shortcut Ctrl+F10. It's easier to use keyboard shortcut F9 to both build and run together. The program outputs hello world on screen. Let's go over our program to understand every line of code. The first line of a program is a comment. A comment starts with a double forward slash and the compiler ignores it. Its purpose is to document the code for better understanding. It is helpful when other developers read your code or when you revisit the code in future. Any line that starts with a hash is a preprocessor directive. It is a directive to preprocessor to perform the requested action before handing over the code to the compiler. In this case, it is a directive to include the file iostream to the preprocessor. The preprocessor replaces this line with the content of file iostream. So a program has all the content of iostream file. The files included using #include are called header files. These files usually only declare the facilities that other applications use. The actual implementation of the facilities or functions is precompiled in a separate file called library. Precompiled means code is already converted to machine-readable form. Having the majority of the implementation in precompiled files makes a program compile faster since the compiler doesn't have to recompile external code. The iostream file gives us facility to input and output stream of data. In this case, we use cout to output a stream of characters to screen. ENDL is used to output a new line character to the stream, that is, pressing an enter after printing hello world. ENDL ensures if the program were to output any more data, then it prints it in a new line. This program has one function, main. A function is a name given to a set of instructions that perform a specific task. For example, opening a door is a function. Climbing a stair is a function. The task of a function main is to give program a starting point. The function main is the first line of code executed when we run our program. C++ reserves function main for this task alone. Every C++ program should have a function main. So when we launch this application, it first executes the statement to output hello world, and then the statement returns 0. Let's look at the statement stdcout in more detail. The first thing to notice is that both cout and endl have a prefix std double colon. Std double colon signifies that both of these belong to the standard library namespace. A namespace is a name given to a collection of related names, and all the standard library functions are under the namespace std. The other thing to note here is two opening angle brackets together. This is an output operator in C++. In this instance, the output operator takes two operands, cout and hello world. The syntax of output operator is like any other mathematical operator. For instance, the plus operator can take two integer type operands, a and b, and return their sum as another integer. In a similar pattern, the output operator takes two operands, cout and hello world, and returns the resultant stream. Here, hello world is a string literal. A string literal is a sequence of letters, characters, enclosed within double quotes. Initially, cout has no data, so hello world is added to cout, and then the output operator returns a stream containing hello world. So the result of cout output operator hello world is another cout containing hello world. Then the output operator uses two operands, one cout containing hello world and endl. It adds endl to hello world and returns the resultant stream. Thus, a new line is added to hello world. For understanding's sake, we can also split the statement into two. The first statement takes cout and hello world as operands, and the second one cout and endl through the output operator. We can also understand it with an analogy to mathematical operation. Let's assume we have two operations. First, an a equals b plus c, and second, d equals a plus e. We can combine these two operations as d equals b plus c plus e. So d has the same value whether we split it into two operations or combine them as one. Likewise, we can combine the output operator in one statement. Cout output operator, hello world output operator, endl. Also, the evaluation of operators in the statement is from left to right, so we don't need parentheses to dictate order. One other little detail is in C++, statements are terminated with semicolon. A semicolon is to C++, what full stop is to English language. Next statement returns 0 from the main. The function main has an int prefix, which signifies it can return an int. An int means an integer type value. An integer is a whole number that can be positive, negative, or 0. Returning 0 from function main means it was a successful execution of the program. Returning anything other than 0 means some error occurred. If any other program runs our program, it can check if the program was run successfully or resulted in error, capturing this return code. Before we move forward, this is an excellent time to smash that like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and reaches more people. If you have already smashed that like button, thank you for being so awesome. Now we run the program from outside the IDE, since when you give your application to someone else, they would run it from outside the IDE. Let's go to the folder where we have our source file. We can see here a .exe is created. This is our application. We can run the application by typing its name. We see an error that code execution cannot proceed since it cannot find a library. A library is a package of code that is reused by many programs. We can fix this error from inside our IDE. Select Settings from the menu and click on the compiler. Select the Linker Setting tab. The linker settings specify which libraries to link and any other library option. As our application could not find libraries, we can ask the linker to include libraries in the application. Using the static option with the library name embeds the library as part of the application. Here we embed GCC, standard library, and a threading library. GCC library has a standard code used by all C++ programs, and the standard library has code for the IOStream facilities. The threading library is needed by the Windows to run the program. Build the program again. I'm using the keyboard shortcut F9 to build. Rerun the program, and it works as expected this time. Apart from our source file and the application, the folder has another file with a .o extension. .o file is called an object file. We need to understand source file to application generation to know who created this object file. As a first step, preprocessor includes IOStream file to our helloworld.cpp. The code generated from this first step is called preprocessed code, which is still human readable form. The compiler converts preprocessed code to machine readable code called object file and has .o extension. The object file is not an application and we cannot run it. It is missing the implementation from libraries such as GCC, standard library, and threading library. The linker links these libraries to the object file and creates an application. For more programming videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. Leave a comment if you want me to cover any specific topic. Share with your friends. Thanks for watching.